We know non-specific host defenses that exists prior to exposure to an antigen and involve different kind of barriers is called innate immunity. Now, what is a barrier? Barriers are the first line of defense against infection. They prevent entry of pathogens, that is, disease causing organism. Innate immunity comprises of four kinds of barriers. The anatomic barriers, which is provided by the skin and the mucous membranes. The mechanical barrier, provided by the skin, retards entry of microbes. The acidic environment retards growth of the microbes. Talking in brief about the physiological barriers, firstly, I'd like to say when we have high fever, the increased temperature inhibit growth of some pathogen that tend to grow in normal body temperature. Oxyntic cells in the stomach secrete HCl. The acidic environment kills most ingested microorganisms. Chemical mediators like lysozyme, interferon, and complement lyse microorganisms and facilitate phagocytosis. The blood monocytes, tissue macrophages, and neutrophils and other cells internalize, kill, and digest whole microorganisms. Coming to inflammatory barriers, tissue damage and infection induce leakage of vascular fluid. Vascular fluid contains serum proteins. Serum proteins have antibacterial activity. On the other hand, tissue damage also causes influx of phagocytic cells into the affected area. We now focus on the anatomic barriers. Talking about the anatomic barriers, we should first mention the function of skin. Skin is the largest organ of the body in terms of surface area. The epidermis contains stratified squamous epithelium. The keratinocytes secrete keratin. Keratin is a wax and therefore is a waterproofing protein. Dermis is skin's inner thicker part composed of connective tissue made of collagen. Dendritic cells, which are a type of phagocyte, are found in the skin derived from monocytes. These cells migrate to the lymph nodes after phagocytosis. Mast cells release histamine during inflammation, not normally in the circulation but in the skin. Sudoriferous glands produce sweat. Sweat contains lysozyme and NaCl, which inhibits most bacteria. The sebaceous glands produce sebum, an unsaturated fatty acid. We know that the thinner outer layer of the skin is the epidermis and the thicker layer is the dermis. Now, the dermis is composed of connective tissue, blood vessels, the hair follicles, sebaceous and sweat glands. Sebaceous glands produces sebum. Sebum contains lactic and fatty acids which maintain acidic pH, and acidic pH inhibits the growth of most microorganisms. We often see people suffering from acne. Acne is caused due to some sebum metabolizing bacteria that live as commensals on the skin. If formation of sebum can be prevented with a suitable drug, acne can be prevented. So skin prevents penetration of pathogens and inhibits bacterial growth. Therefore, if a break of the skin is caused due to bite of mosquitoes, fleas and ticks, pathogenic organisms are harbored. We know, as an example, we can take the infection of malaria, the bubonic plague and the Lyme disease. Coming to the mucous membrane, they are found in the conjunctiva, alimentary, respiratory and urogenital tracts. Contrary to the skin, mucous membrane consists of an outer epithelial layer and an underlying layer of connective tissue. A number of non-specific defense prevent entry of pathogens through mucous membrane. Saliva, tear, mucus secretion not only contain antibacterial and antiviral substances, they also wash away potential invaders. Also, sometimes the mucous membrane is covered by cilia, which propels mucus entrapped microorganisms. also to mention about the normal flora of the epithelial cells of the mucosal surface. They compete and win over the pathogens for attachment site and nutrition. Some organisms, however, have surface structures like that found in influenza virus and gonorrheal pathogen. Some tissues are susceptible to certain infections because the fimbriae or pili of bacteria interact with the glycoprotein or glycolipid of that specific tissue. Talking about the subcutaneous tissue line of gastrointestinal tract, the gastrouterine tract and the respiratory tract, it can be said that the goblet cells secrete mucus. The goblet cells secrete mucus. It prevents cell from drying out and cracking. It keeps bacteria flowing over the surface of the cell lining the tracts of the body. The ciliated columnar cells wave dirt, dust, and bacteria out of the body. In the respiratory tract, cilia wave particles up towards the epiglottis where they are swallowed. This is called the mucociliary escalator. We already talked about the HCl that maintains pH 1.8 in the stomach. The salivary glands produce 1 liter saliva per day. It bathes the teeth with lysozyme that destroys the peptidoglycan layer of different bacteria. Lacrimal glands produce tears which also contain lysozyme.